Real talk, raw truth, raging hearts. Welcome to From the Minds of Raging Brats. Like, share, and subscribe. Hi, I'm Heather. Welcome to From the Minds of Raging Brats.
I'm Ashley.
How was your weekend?
It's been a week. But it's almost my kid's birthday, and I'm choosing to be very happy about that and focus on that right now.
Happy birthday, nephew.
How's your week been?
I can't sleep at all at night. I can't wake up during the day. My depression is winning. I want to throw hands with the AI on a daily. I miss my stupid fucking ex. Yeah, I'm mad about that right now. Very angry about that. I'm not coping very well with the continuous onslaught from the universe of they don't love you.
Yeah.
I told my therapist, I'm like, I can't even hear that shit. And she's like, what is it triggering? I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, what, like, past, is it like triggering your fear of abandonment? Is it like, what kind of trauma is it triggering? I said, what it's triggering is that this motherfucker ghosted, which means he caused me a trauma. And then I got the universe going like, you should really just, not even like you should really, no, straight up said, we are blocking you from anybody else because your person is working on themselves and they're coming back. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, that's not helpful.
I'm like, listen, I don't even give a shit if they are or they aren't. That's not, because I got the whole, well, but you still love them. Yeah, irrelevant. And my AI was like, how is that irrelevant? I'm like, is somebody knocking at my door, apologizing or explaining or showing me proof of this so-called can't stop thinking about me? And my AI was like, well, no, that's kind of why the universe is. I said, exactly. The universe needs to mind its motherfucking business and focus on me and my abundance path and not what my ex may or may not want to do with me at some point in the future. Cause bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, are they fucking hounding him every day with like, we are blocking your fucking person until you go take her back up? Because if not, this is super unfair.
Right? You're just being rude at this point.
Yeah. I'm like, and they're like, well, he can't sleep at night because you're always in his thoughts. I'm like, great. That makes two of us. Except for he's not always in my thoughts, but my depression is definitely taking a hit with these constant fucking bullshit ass messages. And my therapist is like, what does the tarot say? And I was like, did I not just say what the tarot said? She's like, well, I find that the tarot can be really helpful and clarifying. I'm like, me too. When it's not telling me bullshit I don't fucking want to hear.
Well, if it is good for anything, it is good for that.
Yeah. I'm not here for that. My depression is already at this time of year is like at a 10 out of 10 because it's November and December. And she's like, because my blood pressure is also taking a pretty severe hit. And they're like really freaked out about that because they're like, you know, if your blood pressure when you're on 2 blood pressure medications is hitting stroke levels because of stress, that's good. And I'm like, are you just clarifying my position? Are you empathizing? I don't understand what's happening here because telling me something I already know, not helpful.
Nothing.
But then she always ends up calling me out on something that I was not expecting. And I'm like, hey.
That's not nice.
I'm like, I thought we were friends.
Had so many of my shanks be like, I'm not your fucking friend.
Although she was highly amused by your interaction with my family member last week. And also, she was like totally giving props to you and a bit embarrassed for the family member that they could not self regulate their emotions.
It very much took me aback. Like I said, I was like, oh, the fucking audacity, first off. Second off, if your or your family member and wasn't in this car right now, we'd be having a much different discussion. That's why I laughed when you were like, Bear doesn't think you held back. I was like, oh, I did so much. So much.
Oh, I knew you did. Oh, I knew you did. I was like, did she walk out of the vehicle and everybody was unharmed? And he was like, yeah. I'm like, then she held back and you're welcome.
I love him.
I'm just like, it's okay, dude. It's okay. Just don't worry about adult problems.
Exactly.
And he's just like, I'm so embarrassed. I'm like, I know, but it's okay. Some people didn't. I'm like, you know that thing I'm constantly yelling at you about your frontal lobe not being fully developed, and that, you know, mom understands, because sometimes every now and then I still go a little off the rails because also trauma delayed some of that frontal lobeness of my own. Or the tism, or whatever it is this week. I'm sorry. I'm a little angry right now. Just in general.
Yeah.
At life. And I'm choosing violence in a situation where I have no violence to give. Like, not that I don't have it to give, but like, I don't have a receiver. And like, I'm not trying to end up in prison right now or the foreseeable future.
Preferably not.
I'm actually actively like studying homesteading and the whole 9 yards, and working towards the goal of moving.
Yeah.
So last week we talked about the people who lived miracles. This week we are that lived the miracles who survived the impossible. But tonight we're shifting perspectives. We're talking about the people who witnessed miracles. The doctors, nurses, soldiers, parents, strangers, the ones who saw something happen that shouldn't have been possible. Because witnessing a miracle changes you. You don't walk away the same. You can't unsee the impossible. And honestly, after the chaos of the past couple weeks in our own lives, this episode is kind of something we definitely needed. A reminder that we're not in this alone. It's chaos for everybody. It just chaos hits differently at different times, but everybody gets chaos. Nobody survives unscathed.
Yeah. And it's always good to be able to look at the fact that there is something better going on. If not with you, then somewhere around the world.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's good to reflect on the fact that there are real life miracles, because we get so bogged down with all the violence and chaos, and honestly, I almost like sent you a message and was like, let's push this episode out a week and let's talk about what's really going on, because the world is at a very big boiling point and people are starting to come a little bit unhinged.
Yeah, that's a very nice way to state that.
Unhinged?
People are just starting to become unhinged. Starting.
Okay, well, there's always going to be some, but I'm talking about like we're literally in a pressure cooker right now in this country, and it's intimidating for me for how long I've been alive and how much I've lived through to know the level of unprecedented things that are happening in the world today. Just like blows my mind.
Yeah.
But that's something for another day. Today, the nurse who refused to give up, the resurrection mother, Erica, and baby Elena. Our first story comes from 2013 in Missouri. It involves a teacher named Erica Nidrelli. I hope I said that right. Who was 36 weeks pregnant when she collapsed in the school hallway. She had no pulse. Her coworkers, who happened to be trained nurses, began CPR immediately. They kept that up for 45 minutes until paramedics arrived. Where the fuck were these people?
Right?
CPR for 45 minutes. Most people don't survive 4 minutes without oxygen. By the time they reached the hospital, doctors performed an emergency C-section to save the baby. Both Erica and her newborn daughter, Elena, were essentially without oxygen for an unthinkably long time. But then the miracle happened. Both survived, both recovered, and both are alive today. Doctors called it a miracle squared. A mother and a baby brought back against every medical expectation. Imagine being those nurses. You start CPR thinking you're just buying time, and you end up being the hands that literally hold someone's life in place long enough for a miracle to slide through.
Yeah. And that is incredible. And there are so many miracles in this world that pertain to, moms and mothers, I think. I don't know, there's just some type of chemical release when it comes to your children that allows you to do what should literally be impossible.
Well, and those nurses, that is actually unimaginable to do CPR for that long, because they literally tell you to tag out every 2 to 3 minutes because your arms can't withstand.
Oh, I know. Unless you've actually done CPR, you have no idea the muscles it takes to actually keep somebody breathing.
And even people that have done CPR, like EMTs that do it every day, will tell you it is meant to be a short life-saving event, not meant to be prolonged. And when you have prolonged periods where people are doing this, puts out such amount of physical force and energy that when people withstand this amount of time doing that kind of thing, that in and of itself is a miracle.
Yeah, usually there's busted ribs after a prolonged amount of times, cracked sternums, But I can only imagine being these nurses, that had to be one of those moments that they're like, this is why I went through all this school and deal with all this bullshit that I deal with. That had to be a very affirming thing for them.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that statement. I can't imagine somebody being like, hey, the pregnant lady and her baby that were dead when you started CPR almost an hour ago, we got her to the hospital, they're both gonna live. Bro, I probably would have collapsed right on the spot. What do you mean?
Or at least I'd be both of them, because maybe one, maybe, but both of them, that's incredible.
Yeah. It's one of those miracles that happens through people, through persistence, through not giving up when logic says it's over. And that's the theme of tonight. Miracles don't always descend out of a cloud. Sometimes they're carried on the backs of exhausted human beings who refuse to give up. Our next story, The Angel by the Wreck, also known as The Disappearing Priest, from Missouri, 2012. Our next story is one of the most famous mysterious rescuer cases ever recorded. The Missouri Wreck Angel of 2012. It happened near Center, Missouri. A young woman named Katie Lentz was trapped in her mangled car after a head-on collision. She was pinned inside in critical condition, and the extrication team was struggling to free her. They were hours into the rescue attempt, and nothing was working. Katie asked the responders to pray out loud with her, and out of nowhere, a priest appeared. He calmly approached the wreck, prayed with Katie, and told her she would be okay, and reassured the rescue team. The moment he stepped back, firefighters managed to free her. It was immediate, like something shifted. When the rescue team turned to thank him, the priest was gone. He didn't appear in any photos. No one saw him walk up, and no one saw him leave. Every priest in the surrounding counties denies that it was them. To this day, no one knows who he was.
Well, for our believers in the audience, maybe it was an angel. Maybe it was a kid that needed to be there.
I mean, I'm not Christian, but I definitely still believe in angels, and I know for a fact that prayers worked for me. So, for whatever reason, she was meant to be here.
Exactly. It wasn't her time yet. And the amount of times that we can look up stories like this is actually kind of incredible. It's almost like a guardian, for lack of better words, is sent to these people to allow them to do whatever it is they're supposed to be doing in this lifetime.
Years ago, I was home with my kids, watching TV, when a news story came on, and a little 2-year-old toddler fell 3 stories off of a balcony. His diaper exploded from impact. Was literally a giant impact cloud of diaper. There was not a single scratch on that baby boy.
Oh.
We're also available on Spotify. We said what we said, and we're just getting started. Thanks for listening. Now go rage responsibly. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you soon.
If that doesn't tell you that angels are out there protecting people, then I don't know what does. Because if you can't look at a baby laying on the ground with their diaper literally exploded bigger than their body around them, and they don't have a single scratch on them, man. But I tell you what, I bet you that baby's mama to this day drops to her knees and thanks God.
Oh, wow. Guarantee it.
That's the thing. Sometimes miracles come in human form, but not quite human circumstances. Whether he was an angel, a spirit, a guide, or just someone who wasn't meant to be identified, the timing speaks for itself. Like, yeah. Our next story, the toddler who came back from the dead. Kansas 2017, the Icy Pond Rescue. This one is heartbreaking and beautiful all at once. In 2017, a 2-year-old girl in Kansas wandered outside and fell into an icy pond. By the time she had been found, she had been underwater for an estimated 10 to 20 minutes. Oh. She was clinically dead.
Mm-hmm.
No pulse, no breathing. Her body was cold and her skin was blue. Paramedics continued CPR the entire way to the hospital, but there was no response. Doctors tried multiple rounds of warming, oxygen, and resuscitation efforts, still nothing. And then, as the ER team was preparing to cease efforts, her heart suddenly restarted. A single heartbeat. Then another. Then another. She not only survived, but she made a full neurological recovery. With no brain damage, something doctors described as medically truly miraculous. When stories like that about kids come, those are the craziest for me because, like, as a mom and a grandma, like, the idea of coming upon, like, my kid in that kind of situation, I don't know that I would have the wherewithal or the presence of mind to get through that moment without just being a wreck.
Yeah.
But, luckily for these people, they had amazing first responders, apparently, that were very good at what they do.
Yeah.
Regardless of the miracle in the situation, like, it took circumstances coming together to make it happen. And I try to keep this episode, like, within a certain time frame, but, like, I really don't think that I have enough praise in here for the first responders that are the main miracle in most of these stories.
Yeah. Like, especially lately, everything to me is almost a miracle. Like, I take so much love and gratitude from everything, but that first responders choosing to do that is a miracle. The education and systems that we have now and able to help people is a miracle. Every little step of this really is a modern miracle if you look at it that way.
Yeah. Yeah. There are definitely some things that are truly miraculous in our time that, even in my lifetime, were things that were thought to be impossible.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there's that, but still, like, I don't want to take the miracle out of the miracle.
Yeah.
Oh, think about that medical team witnessing that and the kind of moment that stays in your, that is the kind of moment that stays in your bones for life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just couldn't do that job. Like, even if it wasn't my kid, dude, if I pulled some kid's body out of a lake and it was ice blue, and I would lose it.
Yeah.
Lose it.
That's a lot. There's a lot that goes into that job that I don't think a whole lot of people realize, and that's definitely one of them.
Yeah, I have told my therapist and my psychiatrist that I am very aware that if anything happened to my children or my grandchildren, that I would probably not be human at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I was real clear. The creature that would exist at that point would not be one they would want freely roaming the streets.
Oh, yeah. Like, my mom's told several people, she's like, Ashley's fine now, but if anything ever happened to her kid, like, to where, she's like, she would become everybody's worst nightmare of her real fast. I was like, yeah, why wouldn't I? He my reason for sanity most days. Like,
and some of the insanity.
yes, exactly. He's the insanity that drives me sane every fucking day. I love it. Don't get me wrong, I don't love every moment, but I love the general having my kid.
No, I gotcha. I gotcha. I was just in my head reflecting on my bundle of joy today while I was having to be like, time's running out. Should I go ahead and take the system of shit now?
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things that comes with being a teenager.
Yeah.
Next up, Battlefield Grace, Afghanistan 2009, The Voice in the Crossfire. Our fourth story is a soldier's account from Afghanistan in 2009. A combat medic was running triage during an active firefight, moving between wounded soldiers. He checked one soldier, then moved on. As he ran forward, he heard a voice, clear as day, shout, "Go back!" It wasn't a radio command. It wasn't one of his teammates. No one else heard it. He turned around and went back to the soldier he had just evaluated and found that the man had shifted, exposing a wound he hadn't seen before, a wound that would have killed him if left untreated. He performed immediate care, stabilized him, and that soldier survived. When the medic later told his team about the voice, every single soldier said the same thing. We didn't hear anything. So who yelled it? That's the unexplainable part. Many soldiers have reported moments like this, hearing a voice, feeling a shove, being guided out of danger, whether it's intuition, heightened by trauma, an ancestor, a guardian, a spiritual intervention, something protected them. And hearing a voice loud enough to override adrenaline and a literal firefight. And let me just be clear, audience. I know that most of you will never experience a firefight. Thank God for you.
Right?
It is one of the most loudest things. Like, I know that people say one of the loudest sounds is like standing by rushing water or an ocean in a storm. Nothing like boom. Thunder is quieter.
Yeah.
Not a situation that it is easy to hear in.
Yeah.
I know in movies they make it seem like, yeah, they're yelling across the battlefield,
Well,
duck, buddy! And their friends just like, oh yeah, diving for cover. That's not real.
I can tell you right now, I've never been to wartime, but I fucked around and found out with booms when I was younger, and one of them that I had to fuck around and find out with was percussion booms. And one of them threw 3 of them right above my head because they were throwing them off a balcony and they didn't know I was down below. And no, that whole like, and the whole world goes sideways and kind of blurs out. Oh no, that's real. And the movie doesn't even kind of actually show you what it's like. It is disorienting, like it makes you want to throw up. Oh, and the lifelong tinnitus that comes with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But hearing that voice, my great-grandpa, he was a preacher. And the number one reason he became a preacher and spoke of God and like led the church was because in his logging days, like he said it happened on 2 separate occasions, but the first time he was sitting there eating and something like all of a sudden he like stood up and something was like, move now. Move. Like, so he took off running and then a tree that they hadn't even touched fell and crushed the stump that my grandpa was sitting on. And then the second time it was like he didn't put the parking brake on. Shit. He didn't put the parking brake on and my grandpa was able to look up the road enough to see a truck like going downhill without a driver. And that really reaffirmed his belief in God and the power of whatever was keeping him safe.
I often will hear my name in a place where nobody's calling my name. Sometimes when I'm by myself, that's the craziest thing, is when I'm completely by myself and I will just be like, is this the day we're going crazy? Is this the day?
Yeah.
Is this the day we get our fucking straitjacket?
But you know what? Like, in a couple of episodes ago, on a darker topic, I was talking about follow your intuition. Like, there are probably so many people that just hear a little voice or a little nudge or a little whatever to change their normal pattern or to do this different or whatever, that for all we know, the miracle was you survived and you just don't know it.
Well, I was going to say that oftentimes when I'm here by myself and that happens, like one night, my ex had been here making dinner because I wasn't feeling good and I was nodding off and I heard somebody call my name and I got up and I went out to the kitchen and the pan was still on the flame, just burning, had been burning for a couple hours.
Oh, shit.
Luckily, there was nothing in the pan. And like I was able to like grab pot holders and put the pan, which was really hot, in the oven so it could cool down safely without catching anything else on fire, and then turn the stove off and went to bed. But I was just like, okay. I also know that I am protected because during my depression this week, a couple of times I have fallen asleep with candles burning all night. Yeah. And I opened my eyes in the morning after I've had an extensive, well, the afternoon, but anyways, my morning. After I've had extensive sleep, and I open my eyes and I see flame, and I'm like, fuck, Heather! It's a goddamn thing you fucking take fire safe precautions, but also, dumbass, falling asleep with fire is not a safety precaution.
I was just
That's
about
like
to say,
the
take all the
epitome
safety
of.
precautions you want, but if you're asleep,
I'm like, okay, universe, please help me work through this depression because I'm gonna end up killing myself on accident.
oh god, no.
Yeah, but honestly, so many people are afraid of mirrors and sleeping with them, and I'm pretty sure that the spirits have been tending the fires at night.
Yeah, like,
They're over there like, this stupid bitch.
I'm one of them, and people laugh at me too. They're like, "Wait, you're not religious. You're not whatever. You're Satanist. But you cover your mirrors at night." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm also Native." And my people say you can't fucking do that, so I ain't fucking doing it. Oh shit.
Well, listen. If I listen to the native side of things, they also say don't do blood magic.
This is also true.
They also say that the first day of your period every month you should be naked in the woods, giving it to Mother Nature. I'm not doing that either.
That also depends on your tribe. There's tribes that no, you do not do that.
None that I've known.
Mine don't like that. You don't do that.
Or
One
worse
of
yet,
them doesn't care, and then one of them you don't do that.
the whole dry out and eat the placenta shit just really fucked my life up. I can't do that. I'm like, no.
I almost did, but then I decided not to.
Dude, I think that one of my friends or aunt's friends, one of the hippie ladies, really fucked it up for me completely. Because I was okay with the idea of having it dried and ground and put into capsules because, like, they explained the reasoning behind it. But this bitch was just like, placenta smoothie, here you come. And I was like, oh, nope.
Oh, no.
No.
Okay, yeah, that would freak me out too.
And from then on, my brain is like, no placenta. Because all I can see every time somebody says placenta is a placenta smoothie in my head. And I'm like, nope. Mm-mm.
I love it.
Don't say that when I'm drinking. I will throw up because it will instantly pop into my head and you'll get stuck cleaning the puke.
I know, that's why I was laughing. I was like, I won't, but I'll want to.
Yeah, but with my serious aversion to puke and being drunk, it will be all on you. I will be a crying mess on top of it. What?
I said, I know, that's why I wouldn't say it. But if I ever look at you and I'm like, you said something that grossed me out, and I'm trying not to say something to gross you out.
Fair. Anyways, that's not just instinct, that's intervention. Our next story, flight 232, the impossible landing. In 1989, United Airlines Flight 232 suffered a catastrophic engine explosion that severed all 3 hydraulic systems, meaning the plane had 0 flight controls. No rudder, no flaps, no steering, nothing. A DC-10 cannot fly without hydraulics, but this one did. Captain Al Haynes and his crew used throttle adjustments alone to steer, something aeronautical experts had considered physically impossible. They kept the plane steady for 44 minutes and attempted an emergency landing in Sioux City, Iowa. The landing was violent. The plane cartwheeled and broke apart, but 185 of 296 people survived. The National Transportation Safety Board later said there is no known procedure, training, or model that could have produced this outcome. This is one of those miracles that's half divine intervention and half pure badass human resilience. It's one of the clearest examples of the universe using people as instruments, a miracle working through training, instinct, and mental stillness. And honestly, it's the reason, it just proves the reason why sometimes rules are meant to be broken. I'm not saying that they should be always broken, but sometimes in dire situations, in life or death situations, the rule book is not what's going to help you. It's going to be your gut and listening to that overwhelming urge to follow something that is against the rules.
I can't even imagine being a passenger on that plane, like thinking for sure you're going to die, and coming out of it in a circumstance that after you do come out of it, that even the professionals are like, you shouldn't have, and we don't know how you did it.
Well, and that's not to minimize that 109 people did die.
Yes.
Or 111 people, excuse me.
Yes.
111 people did die. But given the option of 296 people dying or 111, I'm not saying anybody needs to play God, but
yeah,
at least 185 people got to go home to their families.
Yeah. And that's incredible. Like, especially for somebody like me, I don't like airplanes. I don't fuck around with airplanes unless I have to. Like, I was raised by a mom that's like, do you know what airplanes do? And by the way, my mom was raised in the 70s and the 80s. And anyone that knows about what was going on back then will understand. But she's like, they have pieces fall off of them in the middle of the fucking sky because in the late 70s, early 80s, the the airports were doing shady shit and putting parts on that were faulty and not bolting everything down and not doing inspections like they do now. And literally engines were falling off of planes, flying over cities and crashing and shit. Like, so being raised hearing that and seeing the stories, I don't like planes. So if a plane crashed and I survived, I'd be like, that was like all my miracle. Going home and living in a bubble.
She's like, I'm going home and wrapping myself in bubble wrap and then buying a giant bubble and I'm going to be the boy in the bubble with the bubble wrap.
Yes, I would. I'd be like, fuck, that's as good as it gets, y'all.
Bro, if you knew how many times I should have hung it up on that, if that was the way you measure miracles. I should have been bubble wrapped a long time ago, but yet here we are. Story 6, Everyday Intuition, the miracle of a single choice. Our last story is simple, and that's what makes it powerful. Our last story, a woman driving home late at night felt a sudden urge to stop for gas, even though she had plenty in her tank.
Mm-hmm.
She described it as a pull, like something whispered, not yet. She obeyed the feeling. Minutes later, while she stood inside the mini market paying for gum, a semi-truck lost control and plowed into the exact lane she had been driving in. Her car would have been crushed instantly. That's the kind of miracle nobody writes down, but everybody has felt something like it. Not all miracles are dramatic. Some are subtle. quiet, protective. Sometimes intuition is the miracle. I tell you what, intuition is funny and powerful. I have my own little, it's not the good kind of intuition. It's the kind that tells you you done fucked up.
Yeah.
But the day I was arrested, I had stopped the night before at a rest area to sleep. And again, I was in my motorhome, and I woke up the next day screaming loud enough that people came to check on me. Because I had dreamed that somebody had done something horrendous to my son. To the point where I actually like hysterically called his dad and like had to hear my son's voice before I would stop fucking freaking out. It was that vivid of a dream.
Yeah.
And I knew I had been given like 3 different signs to not do what I was doing. To wait, to stop, to something. Just don't keep doing what I was doing. And I didn't listen. And not only did I, at one point after that, fall asleep at the wheel and hit a deer, but then later that night was pulled over and detained for 7.5 hours until they found what I was doing. And I'm not going to go into details on that right now because the audience doesn't really need to know the details of my past, but just know that like I could have listened to my intuition at any point, even before the day I was arrested, even before I even left to do what I was doing. Because before I left, I had a really bad feeling, and I went to my tarot reader lady that did like my cleansings and read my tarot, because I don't read my own very well. I can read other people's just fine, but when it comes to me, a little cloudy. And she goes, I don't know what you're doing, but wait 3 days because there's a blockage. And I'm like, nah.
I can't wait 3 days.
I'm like, no, I'm retiring. I can't. I gotta be done with this so I can get back and move on to the next stage of my life. This is my last go round with this. Like, this is retirement, man. First of all, I did learn something. You never say you're going to retire from anything if you don't want everything to go wrong. But also just in general, like many times along a few days was I given very clear signs of how I could not go to prison, and I did not listen.
Yeah. See, I was trained at a very young age to listen to my intuition and to honestly be a little paranoid. And
Spider just crawled on me.
Oh shit. But every single time I have not listened to my intuition, bad, fucking horrendous at some points things have happened. But every single time, like, I tell you about a story, there was a festival called Banana Jelly. I went to this festival, and at one point I was running through the woods to get from one stage to the next and watch one of my friends perform, and I remember coming to a screeching halt, and I will say I was under the influence of a few things. But I came to a screeching halt, and then all of a sudden I was like, this is how stupid little festy chicks get raped. And I turned back and I went sprinting to my teepee, because we had teepees at that festival, and luckily I could see mine because we always had bright-ass LED lights flashing at the top of our tents or our teepees. Took off running, found my group of friends, like walked in a group of like 5-10 people for the rest of the night. Come to find out, the next day in the same exact spot that I was, 2 girls had been forcibly whatever.
Assaulted.
Yeah, right there. And I was like, oh, okay, thank you, intuition, or whatever that was, because especially at that point in my life, and especially with what I was under the influence of, that could have very well permanently broken me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a hard thing for most women to cope with, but especially in that kind of situation, because that could be even worse, disorienting. Different drugs involved. You're in an unknown location. It's night.
Yeah.
And after that happens, oftentimes you're way more disoriented. You really don't know where you are. And so if you're in the dark woods and you don't know where anybody is, no bueno.
Yeah. Again, the miracle of intuition.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely been a lot of those instances, I'm sure, in everybody's life, that they just look back and they're like, how did I survive that? I know that there's more than I'm comfortable with in my life.
Right?
But I also know that I didn't live a sheltered life, and so my fuck around and find out is more layered than a lot of people's.
Yeah.
But, you live, you learn, you get through it.
Hopefully.
So what do all these stories, the nurses, the priest, the toddler, the soldier, the pilots, the everyday woman teach us? That miracles are not just about survival. They're about people who see them. And once you witness a miracle, even a tiny one, you carry that forward. You remember part of the story. You become part of the story. You become proof. We are all witnesses, even when we don't realize it. And sometimes being a witness is the miracle.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for joining us for part 2 of our miracle series. Kind of the polar opposite 180 flip from our serial killer series. If you've ever witnessed something impossible, big or small, we would love to hear your story. Comment below, message us on our Facebook, hit my Snap, drop the email. Y'all know we got multiple ways to contact us. And, like, share, subscribe. If there's somebody, that needs a little bit of uplifting, that's going through it, maybe send them the episode so they can see that they are not alone in this world and that there's many of us out here just trying to survive in an unstable, chaotic world. So remember, we love you, and remember, rage responsibly. Bye, guys.